In today's video, I'm going to talk about this transmitter, but not this one. I already have shown it in another video. In another video, I talk about this kit. It's a small circuit board that contains parts for an AM transmitter. I want to talk about the future of my channel a bit and about something that I did get to show. And I have some things here. I have, for example, this box with this, or this is not a box, it's more like a plastic thing that has some stuff in it. And if you have a look on what this is, you have a thingy here with a lot of pins. And you have also this thing here with the 3 pins and DIP 8 case, something. And you will see in the future what this is, because if you look at my channel, you know that I often build circuits that I show the schematic and as I be like, hey, it would be cool if someone would rebuild it. And this is the usual thing that I do. And I changed that. You sure notice that I did start to show things that are a bit rare, like this kit here, or this FM radio kit that I showed, and some other things. And I'm more transitioning to a show and tell channel rather than building things and showing schematics. I still will build circuits here and there and show them, but I'm planning to make this more like a museum channel, that you find something that is very rare, I'm going to make a video about it, because personally I never ever saw this thing in a forum, someone writing about it, or saw a video, or even know that it existed until I random found it. So I was looking for stuff that I can show, and on the online site where you can bid for things, I found another company. This company is called Diamant Quality Kit Test Transmitter for Medium Wave, and here is the frequency, and it costs 23 Mark 80, also Deutschmarks 23.80, which is around 12 bucks. But keep in mind, this was like 40 years ago. I think this thing is very, very old. And with inflation, you can imagine how much this will cost these days. Anyhow, here's what it looks like. It says test transmitter for medium wave, for testing and servicing, radio receiver. It warns you, do not use it as spy bug. Like with the microphone, you can place it in a room and go to another room and listen to what is said in the room wirelessly on the radio. Here are the technical data thingies. And based on this picture, I didn't have much images to look at. It doesn't look like it's something special. I mean, something I know already, but I soon found out as soon as I got the circuit board. Because if I have the circuit board here, I'm sorry for the alligator clips, but I have them there for a reason. You can see something. It utilizes one big transistor, two small TO92 transistor thingies, and a coil. And when I got it out of the box, I was already like, oh, this looks very suspicious, like it's this here. And now look at the layout. Look at the layout where the parts are placed. It's basically this transmitter, but with slightly changed data and with different labels. So they changed the data, for example, the supply voltage has been changed. I think they also changed the frequency range. Yes, they changed the frequency range. And the other one says 10 milliwatt transmission power, and this one says 5 milliampere current. It uses 5 milliampere current. So when I tested it, I hooked it up to my cassette player and I used my radio just to see how it works. And it does work, but as to be expected, it does have a really big issue with frequency modulation. Frequency modulation is when you have your radio and you tune it to the, this has a fine tune on the side, here is a fine tune, and you tune it spot on the frequency to get the best reception. The audio will vanish, or it will distort, or will not sound good because it's frequency modulation, and using slope detection, you have to tune the radio next to the frequency that you are receiving. And this is what this kit does. It does produce a lot of frequency modulation, and there is even more to it. The audio is fed in a weird way. So you have your audio amplifier here. Via this red capacitor, it goes to base of one of the amplifier transistors, and you'd expect the other pin goes to ground, because this is your typical configuration. But no, if you follow the trace, it goes to base of the oscillator transistor, which is very odd. I mean, it may work, but we will see how it works in a moment. Yeah, let's just see how it works. So there is the radio that's already tuned to the transmitter. Now I push play on my cassette device. This is how it sounds. So you would say, oh well, it's distorted because I crank up the volume too much. No, because the distortion is in there, but it's actually very silent. Now let me change the ground. This is the ground from the cassette player, and this is why I'm using these alligator thingies. Let's change. Now it's there where it's usually. It's like on ground. So the first thing you will see is the signal is sort of gone, and it changed. I will give you the new frequency, and let me just adjust it here. So it changed from the old to this one, but listen, it's still a bit making adjustments, you can get it to sound very good. Come on, talk. Yeah, this is from TV. This is old advertising on telly. More than 20 years ago I recorded it. Okay, you can hear it.
Testen Sie jetzt Dreno. Merci krokant, mit Mandeln verfeinert.
As you sure notice, the change that I connect ground to the real ground and leave the other one on the base of the transistors made it work in a good way. So here again, the frequency has jumped at least 100 kilohertz. And what they give you as info is they suggest an ideal supply voltage. And since the amplifier part of this, I already talked about it in the video of the other transmitter. The amplifier is, I think it is DC coupled. It's something that you have to get the supply voltage right to get the perfect modulation. This is, by the way, not 4 batteries. This is a bridged one, so it's just 3 batteries. So I'm not overvolting this. I'm using it in what they give you as info for the supply. In this area, I'm having my voltages. So my voltage from the battery supplies the transmitter and it's running. And for testing purposes, I'd be like, okay, they connect an antenna to it, so I do that too. And I connected the antenna here because this is what I wanted to show you. In the manual, they give you this, how they build it with this crystal. This is a crystal microphone. It's a very specific kind of microphone. And they connect the antenna here. And if you follow the board, this is this capacitor here, and it leads to a ground symbol. So it does not lead to a antenna, so it leads to a ground symbol. But in the manual they say connected to an antenna. So what? Connected to the antenna or connected to ground? Actually, connecting it to ground will work because if you follow the traces, the antenna pin is like connected to plus from the battery, and the ground, which should be ground, is connected to the RF output. I think it goes to the collector from the transistor or so. So yeah, this is a bit confusing. And I think I can show you some of the, let me just see it. I think I can show you some of the info they give you. Like they tell you some stuff. I can go through. So this one talks about how to wind the coil, the technical details. Here it shows you how you connect the coil to the board. Here it tells you how to power the transmitter. And here it says connect the antenna wire to the thing on the board that says antenna, which makes no sense because they themselves connected it to the ground, and here they say connected to antenna. So what? Connected to antenna or connected to ground? Like they couldn't figure it out, or I don't know. And then it says connect a microphone to the input, and it will do something. It will broadcast your. If you're talking to it, it will broadcast it. Now adjust the transmitter to this frequency here, and the radio, then place it close to the board, so place the radio to the board, and then you can hear the audio feedback from the microphone, and this shows that the transmitter is working. And here they say, now that the transmitter works, you can align any frequency in this range for testing your radio or aligning the thingy. Aligning your radio, receiver, whatever. And here it says to prevent interference with other radio stations, put the board in a metal case. Then it talks about that the sensitivity of the microphone is very high, and you can even hear people talking when they aren't talking very loud. And here they tell you important information. Please use this only as a testing transmitter for aligning or fixing a radio or receiver. Do not use this as spy bug or listening thingy. And you also have to pay attention to the laws of the usage of such transmitters in your country. This is just like a default text. And this one talks about building it into a housing, and they suggest a few housings they offer themselves, and you can buy them and then put the kit inside the housing. In the other thing, there is the schematic, which I don't show you because I showed you the values for a moment. And the schematic is basically more or less the same than from the other transmitter, because like I said, I'm heavily thinking that this is basically the Chemo Electronic or KB transmitter, but some people bought it, rebranded it, made a new board that looks a bit different, gave it a new picture, changed some things, and then sold it. I don't know why people did that in the past, but they had their reasons. Another thing you may think, a crystal microphone is a very, very high impedance device. So we're talking about hundreds of kilo ohms. And I thought, okay, if I connect my cassette player here, maybe it changes the bias, although there's a capacitor in series, so it shouldn't DC-wise change the bias. So I also switched a huge resistor between my audio source and the connectors to simulate a microphone, but it didn't change it. The modulation was still distorted, was still like it was, and yeah. Okay, so this was my show and tell or demonstration or make a clip for the AM test transmitter, another vintage device. This, by the way, came in a package where other not transmitters, it was a package with lots of RF circuits. Like there is a FM demodulator, but it's for narrowband FM with 455 kilohertz IF. It's just a IC circuit. There were lots of kits and things for radio stuff, but I really only bought it mainly for this transmitter. And when I saw it, I didn't know it's basically the Chemo circuit and just under another label. But still, it's another transmitter, and I wanted to show you it's something vintage that I personally haven't seen on forums or have seen a video about. And here it is, a video about this vintage medium wave transmitter. And I'm glad that you took your time to watch my video. I appreciate that. More videos will come. I have already made some videos. I just need to upload them, but maybe next month or probably next month. So yeah, thank you for watching. Best greetings from Stefan.